Okay, welcome to our weekly team call. It is the second to last day of January, January 30th, and it's just a great month. We're doing so good as a team, and if you're not in Success Club yet, you still have time to lock that in. I shared some videos and tips in Team Live and Love that I highly suggest watching if you are still pushing for it, and everybody on this call, you're on this call, so you're pushing. So make sure you don't give up and just keep going. And remember, everything that you do now gets you closer to Success Club next month too, and sets you up really strong and builds that momentum. And that's what you want going into the new year. That being said, I'm going to start the call with some recognition for Success Club. Look at our beautiful faces on that board. Okay, so we have our top producers with Amber Bayer at Success Club 30, Jacqueline Cook, Success Club 14, Madison Raymond, Success Club 14, myself at Success Club 10. We have Michelle Collins at Success Club 8, Kayla Borden at Success Club 6, and we have tons of people who are almost there. So all of you people with Success Club 4, Success Club 2, like you can totally make that happen. Even if you're not on this board yet and you're pushing, like don't give up. So we have Abby Lynn, Success Club 4, Allison Wren, Success Club 4, Caitlin Marino, Success Club 4, Shell Paris at Success Club 4, Kelsey Noonan at Success Club 2, Katie Holschner, Success Club 2, and Katie Jean at Success Club 2. And then, because I wanted to start recognizing rank, I know Amber did too, because I know a lot of you guys have Diamond and Star Diamond and like Premier and 2-star and all of those things as goals this year. So every week I'll be updating our little rank board. We have starting coaches, myself and Amber Bayer. We have Diamond coach, Jacqueline Cook. It's so fun seeing a new face up there. Like, look at all these Emerald coaches though, real quick. What could happen to the team if all of these people went Diamond?
Kate, is there a different slide? I'm still seeing.
Oh. New share. Okay, I thought it would just switch over. My B.
And also, I'm just going to say we accidentally missed Shauna, who has Success Club 2.
Okay.
So, but just wanted to show that she put it in the chat. Sorry, Shauna.
I'm sorry, Shauna. I thought I had it on there. I was going from the back office, so I might have missed something, but I apologize. And I'll have it updated for the end of the month too, tomorrow or after tomorrow. So I apologize. Okay. So rank now. Can you guys see this? Yes. Okay. So we have Amber and I as our Star Diamond coaches, and Jacqueline as the new Diamond coach on the team. And that just happened this month. So that's really exciting to think about, like, what can happen this year. And it's cool because we have new Emeralds who just went Emerald today. But look at all these Emerald coaches. Like I was saying before, you guys couldn't see all of these Emerald coaches. Like, you guys have the potential to be Diamond and above this year. And even if you're not there yet, if you're just getting started, Emerald is you plus 2 coaches. It's super easy. We're going to be running little Emerald workshops with Set Your Soul on Fire like every month now going into this year. So if you're not there yet, you can totally make it happen easily. And it's really just a good kickoff point for your business, because it means that you can start earning paid leads if you're hitting Success Club 10, and free leads if you're hitting Success Club 5. And it means you're starting to build team cycle bonuses. So definitely something you want to push for and beyond, because you don't want to stop there. And with that, I will kick it over to Amber, who's going to talk all things Instagram tonight.
Yeah, and also hitting Success Club 10 or higher is going to give you, I don't know if you said this, sorry, I was spacing out for a second listening for my baby, but that earns you the trip to Mexico next year. Yeah. So if you haven't, I know Jacqueline got to register, right? She got off the list, but everyone else is able to opt in, and then you'll get an email when it's time to register. And so basically everything you're doing this year is going to pay for that trip next year. for you plus 1. So just keep that in mind. If it's 10 each month, you're basically not going to pay for the trip. I mean, it's like free. You have to pay for your airfare. If you get under, if you like miss it, like you might have to pay a little bit, but it's still worth it. But just try to keep that in your mind. Like if I just hit Success Club 10 every single month, I'm like getting that trip paid for. Okay, so I'm not like a social media like expert by any means. When I first started, I think I had like 500 followers. A lot of them were hair clients. I was really inconsistent with my posting. There was no stories back then. It was just posting, and I definitely was not posting anything health related. It would be like anything food related was like vodka and like my dinner or something. Like it was not health related. And so when I became a coach, I just followed what my coach Kate told me to do and what our upline trainings told us to do, which was Amy Silverman. So I had these two people to look to that had social media presences larger than mine. I think Amy had like 10,000 followers then. Kate, maybe you had like 1,000 or something. I don't know. And I remember just thinking like, if I could just get to 1,000 followers, and I just was consistent. And so things have changed, and I've learned as I've gone. I don't know everything. A lot of the training and things that I'm going to bring to you guys tonight are just things that I've like been paying attention to from different trainings that are free out there. But things that stuck with me, things that I know I still need to work on. Some of these things might not be where you're at yet, but there are things that you can come back to, or just, keep it in your mind while you're posting and, thinking about like who you want to attract and who you want to connect with via social media, which is not exactly, it doesn't have to be how we build our business, but it's a pretty large way we build our business because it's a free platform. And even if like you want your social media to bring new people to you, but it's also a way that you're going to speak to the people in your own life. Like I know one of my really best friends, Loea, is on this call right now, and she was like a supporter of mine for years. And even though we're friends, we don't live in the same state. And so I know her seeing me stay consistent on social media helped her decide to become a coach. So it's like you have to think about these things too, not just for your potential new people, but the people in your own life, creating that consistency, because consistency and repetition, it equals authority and trust. I can't say it enough. You have to be so repetitive, like all the time. You can't say things enough because social media moves so fast, and you think that you are making it crystal clear, and it's still going to go over people's heads. So with that, I did make some slides, and hopefully my baby isn't going to ruin everything. Okay, okay, so look at that. Share. Can you guys see this? Can I pull it up? Can you see that?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, sweet. Okay. Instagram training. Okay, so I'm going to go over these things, and then this is kind of like the subjects that I want to go into. You don't have to write all this stuff down or anything, because the main thing I want to go over first is your bio and highlights. And then I'm going to touch on feed, meaning just like your Instagram feed, like when someone goes to your, Instagram profile, and that's your feed, stories, and then also hashtags. So I'm not gonna, I guess I didn't really have to go into whatever. I'll just get into the first thing. Okay, so bio. And I thought it might be fun if there's time at the end, if anybody wants to be publicly critiqued, we can totally do that. If there's time, we can like kind of give each other feedback and kind of thinking about some of these things I'm going to talk about. But I recently was tuning into this social media like training, and it wasn't for health coaches in particular. It was just for people that are trying to build an online platform to whatever it is that they're selling. So I felt like a lot of it that pertained to coaching is what I shared with you guys. So it seems obvious, but like you want your profile to be public. You want it to say your name, because sometimes like our Instagram name is not our name. So you want to make sure that it's clear, it's personable, that when someone comes and looks at if your bio, if your like profile name is not your name, does it say in there that what your name is? And then is it clear what you do and who you help? So insights, that's a typo. Sorry, I was typing this while Violet was like literally pulling on my hair. So that's weird, but okay. So, and it can be as simple as like, I help women lose postpartum weight, like by working out from home. like, who do you help? What do you do in a sentence? Can it be in your bio? And I think the clearer you are, like, does that mean you won't? So say you use that example, like I help women lose postpartum weight. That doesn't say that you don't work with women that aren't moms, but it's definitely really narrowing in into your like target audience. And it's just a way, because if we're speaking to like everybody in the whole world, it's a lot harder for people to like get your message and for you to stand out to them. So I think the more you can kind of narrow in who you want to work with, and usually it's a reflection of you and what you're working on is usually kind of like who you end up helping. Is it clear what you're currently promoting? So I know all of us are usually posting, like either we're talking about a challenge group or we're doing a coach sneak peek. Those are like the two things normally each month that we're talking about. So is it clear in your bio what you're like promoting? And I think that when you go into the link in bio, I'll get into this, but like it can say, you know, link in bio to work with me, but then your link in bio needs to reflect what's currently going on. And so when someone comes to your profile, like what would you want them to DM you about? Like what makes you stand out? Is it just you're just on a fitness journey and that's really great? Or are you someone that's actually able to help them? Like you need it to be clear enough that yes, you're on a journey and yes, this is like you sharing your life, but do you have something that you offer? And so when you get to the link in your bio, like you can do Linktree, you can do Milkshake is the one I'm trying out right now. These are free. They're basically third-party apps where you can, it's like a link holder. So you can have, you know, link to your Facebook page, a Jotform application, which a lot of us do, which is also free. It can take you to a landing page if you're someone that wants to build a website. I mean, whatever. It's just something that takes them to like some type of opt-in. But I think it's important that there's no more than 3 options. This is something that I know Amy's talked about too, and I've been hearing lately. And I just cleaned mine up because, and I loved what I heard, a confused mind takes no action. Because if like, it's great that you, like I used to have like my Amazon store, Facebook, YouTube, and it's all these things that I offer. And it's not that these things aren't important. It's just like, if you have 3 things or something psychologically about the human brain that wants to pick one that they can relate to, that they will click on. And I guess there's even studies done that if there's 4 options, the brain still doesn't know which one to choose. There's something about the 3 that's like a magic number for people to be like, oh, 1, 2, 3, that's me. I'm clicking on that one. And if people have to scroll for too long, or if it's too much, it's like if people have ADD and it's too much effort and they're going to like forget about it and go move on to the next thing. They might come back, but they might not. So I thought that was really important to kind of just limit like and it can change. So maybe like right now it's like your coach sneak peek, you know, your challenge group, and I don't know, your Facebook page or something like, and then maybe next month it's a special thing you're doing, or, you know, like it can change week to week. It's just that try to keep it to reflecting what's actually going on that you're actually trying to promote, to kind of like clean out some of that noise. So yeah, I love that. I confuse mind takes no action. I don't know if there's questions. I'll come back later if there are. Okay, so highlights. This is something that I'm working on because I had a lot of highlights that were like travel, and some of them were like Beachbody and food, and I had my postpartum, my pregnancy journey and postpartum and gut health, and I had like a shit ton of highlights. And I don't know, maybe people are gonna like really come to your page and like binge on your highlights, but it looked like I hadn't had more views on some of them for a while. So I think it's important to clean them up. You can make a cute little graphic for your highlights. I'm trying to pare mine down and keep it more simple, but what I just added one that's results, and I'm gonna get into that because that has to do with social proof. Because making yourself feel like you are in some type of authority is going to make people have more trust to work with you. So about me or a start here, I've heard of someone making like, it's like start here and it says exactly how to work with them, where it's screenshots of like how to click the link in their bio. I know Courtney Burton has a work with me where you go and it's like a screenshot of her challenge group and then her coach sneak peek, and it walks the person through. And I think having that at the very beginning, so when people come to your Instagram and they're like, you know, I want to do one that's like about me, and then results, and then work with me, I think is what I'm gonna have. Because then you can really put a lot of those other things in there. Because I realize like food is something that I share a lot and I get a lot of people that are interested in, but I'm just sharing that every single day and I don't know if I need a highlight for it, for example. So like that's why I want to I don't really want to get new people just asking me about recipes. I want to get people that want to join my team and want to build a business. So I need to focus. This is just me sharing what I'm going to change. So social proof. I love this. So I've been doing it. I know a lot of you guys have been doing this, but this is like showing what's going on. If you don't have customers yet, then screenshot one of the coaches on the team. Like if share like my results, share your upline results if you don't have your own results yet, or if you want to share something in your challenge group, just make sure if they're a challenger that you either block out their face or ask them for permission. But I feel like most of the coaches here are pretty cool about us sharing each other's stuff, but I usually still ask. So testimonials can mean like a screenshot, it can be a conversation. Like even if you wanted to text, like say one of your challengers is like a friend of yours and you just say like, hey, can you just like text me like a couple of blurbs about what you're liking about our challenge group or something like that kind of social proof, like real just screenshots from your phone, not beautifully fancied up and doctored up with these like apps, just like something screenshot I think is really vulnerable and people are like, oh, that's really cool. So I've been trying to do that a lot lately. Another idea could be a video. Like if someone wanted to give you a testimony video, like a story, maybe it's like 15 to 30 seconds and you could just share that. I haven't done this yet. These are just things I'm going to try, but that can speak a lot. And it doesn't have to just be like coaches. It can be people that you've worked with. And if you're new and you don't have these people, then ask, a teammate to do it for you, or ask somebody that, not lie, but like have them share like what's worked for them within our community. So then you can kind of write off that until you have your own people. So yeah, I'm trying. When we did our coach retreat, Steph Davies encouraged us to have a, what was it called? It was an evidence folder and it's on my phone. So I've been just screenshotting things like anytime a customer texts me something or emails me something, just anything like my blood work came back and this happened, or I'm fitting into these jeans or something. Even if I'm not going to share it, I screenshot it and I keep it in this evidence folder on my phone to remind me of the work that I'm doing. So when I'm having a hard day or something, I'm like, okay, this is what it's all about. But then it's also a place where I can go kind of draw from if I did need some social proof. And social proof, again, is just reminding our followers like that we are actually working with people and it's not just about our own fitness journey, so they can actually feel like they can join us, because you can be like, join me all day, but there's something about like the social proof that can really help people. So when it comes to posting, I like this one a lot. So kind of going back to that scrolling thing, like there's studies that if people have to they go to your profile and if they have to scroll more than 3 times to find what the hell you do, then people are like ADD, they don't care anymore. So that's why your top 9 is usually within the first. They go to your profile, they see your top 9, and just try to keep that as a balanced reflection of like what you are offering and what you're up to. So I think it's also a good reminder that you should be posting your transformation, even if it's like weekly progress or a throwback transformation or something. It can be a face-to-face, it can be a non-scale victory, it does not have to be a full body bikini side by side. I mean, it can just be something that's progress. Should be in there, something about nutrition, something about community, like just what, everything that we offer within your top 9. So I think that's a good, and that can help you too if you're like, I don't know what to post today. You can go look at your phone and be like, well, I guess I haven't actually shared about this lately. And then something that was also said is to make sure it's not just selfies. All my pictures are selfies, you guys. I'm like, it made me be like, cool. So, and you can invest in a photo shoot, but you could also just meet up with a coach if possible. I know Jacqueline will set up her timer. I think Loea does that too. I think a lot of you guys do that. So you can even do that. Don't feel like you have to invest all this money in like a professional fitness photo shoot, but just think about it just not all being selfies, and also, is it representing what work you do? So what I want to do is like have a photo shoot or ask a friend to take some pictures of me working in a coffee shop or working on my computer. So yes, I have like the fitness side of things, but also the business side of things because I want to share more of that. So that's what I'm just thinking. And that's just like another way to boost your authority. Authority just means that people are like, oh, she's in demand. I want to work with her. She knows what she's talking about. Even if you're don't feel like that, you just want to be representing that. And then another thing is for your post, like if you're getting a lot of objections or you're getting just in your DMs, if you're finding people are repeating certain things to you, either asking you questions about certain things, like if you just see a theme, like people keep asking me about this, or if people are giving you these same objections, then that should be something that you are using for your posts, because it can be like a, basically like a way to handle objections publicly, but it can also be a way to like give the people what they want. So I've been cooking with soy curls and I've gotten about 50,000 questions about soy curls. So I was like, and I learned about soy curls from my old challenger. And I'm like, okay, apparently I need to make an IGTV about the soy curls, because then it can be somebody asks me again, I can direct them to my IGTV, and then it's something that people actually want to watch and they actually care about. And I'm always trying to think of like things I can talk about that people actually want to know about. And for me, it's hair and apparently soy curls. So that, and then also, so that's just something people are asking for. But just think about it, like when you're doing these invites and people are giving you, like, you're just seeing themes. If you're just seeing themes and like questions, and even if you just think it's like the most vague or like not something that everyone should know or something, it doesn't matter. It's still something that your audience is like requesting. So just keep that in mind. And then I don't know if anyone's asking questions, but I'm just gonna keep going because the baby's not crying. Okay, so when it comes to stories, it's kind of like going back to the 4 vitals, which are be a product of the product, recognition, inviting, and what's the other one? Personal development. So all of these things can translate into our stories, because if we're doing our workout and we're drinking our shake and we're eating healthy and we're doing social proof and we are also doing personal development and sharing that because that's value, then that's just kind of a way to stay on top of your 4 vitals, but then also be up on your stories. So I like to think of those kind of like together. Think about polls. We've already talked about some of this stuff, but we do a lot of polls for, asking basically to use them as a segue to invite. So, a lot of us are like, are you interested in this group? Are you interested in this? But try to do a few polls in there that have nothing to do with Beachbody. So then you can be providing either value or just upping engagement, because if somebody DMs you or votes, then it can lead into another conversation that you're just connecting. The whole reason why we have social media is to connect, and the algorithms favor people that are connecting. And so it's not like, should I wear, which color nails should I do, red or black? And then they say black, and then you're like, do you want to join my challenge group? Like, don't do that, but maybe be like, it could turn into more. And always try to think of a way that you can ask a question, so it doesn't just end. And that's something I need to work on, because I've just been really good at being like, thank you, and then I don't ask like, oh, I can't think of an example right now, but like, I just leave it at thank you when I could be like, oh, I mean, this is the one we always say, are you on a fitness journey too? Like, that doesn't have to be the only thing you say. It could be something else, but that does work. But if it's about fitness, that makes sense. But, just try to leave it with a question so the conversation can go back and forth. And it's not just like, the Amber show, which is kind of what I've let my Instagram turn into, which is fine. But I don't know if I feel like sometimes if it's just all about us, then it can be intimidating. And even if you're like, join me, join me, join me, people are still like, I don't know what to DM her about. So, so just anything you can do to ask a question, break down that like feeling of like you're the star and they can't say anything. Like you want everyone to feel comfortable and be able to talk to you. And then this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Let's try to lift my shirt up right now to nurse. Not right now, girlfriend. So the last thing I'm talking about is hashtags. And this has been a big one for me, because I think I was telling Jacqueline this, but I've been using postpartum journey, mom of 2, single mom, because I'm thinking, yeah, like these are the hashtags that like people I want to work with are using. And then I actually like did some homework when I say search the hashtags you use and see. So I went and looked. They're all freaking coaches. Like nobody's using those like hashtags like I thought they were. And so we want to be using hashtags that are like our ideal audience, but also like check them from time to time. Like if you're like, yeah, this is a good one. Well, have you looked at it lately? And are they people? I'm sorry, Violet. And are they people that you would actually like, want to work with, or are they all coaches? That's what I realized. postpartum journey is like all coaches, which I was surprised. For some reason, pregnancy hashtags are not coaches, just postpartum hashtags. Hold on, you guys, I have to dip or something. I'm almost done here.
And one thing I want to add, well, last week, Amy did a team call on hashtags and talked a bit more about like hashtags and looking at your insights with hashtags. And it's got me like really into that. Well, last night I posted a photo and I like forgot to use the new ones that I had been doing, because Amy talked about using like 10 to 15, trying out different ones, looking and like searching for different hashtags. And if you missed last week's Set Your Soul on Fire team call, go back and watch it. Obviously I need to watch it again because I forgot. And then I looked at my post insights from my most recent post I posted last night, and it didn't get bad traction, but I was looking at the insights, and it was like impressions, 7,245 from home, 7,117 from hashtags 24. So like it just didn't show up in most of the hashtags I used, or it wasn't being seen. So obviously I need to do more research and tweak things. So just know that.
Right. And so what this one social media guru lady was saying was it's really important to mix the density. So like when you go to do a hashtag, and Amy talked about this recently too. So if it says like, if you had, so an example, coffee, and it's got like 6,000 million, but if you do like coffee love, like that'll sometimes bring up some other suggestions too. So it's a good idea to you want to combine them because you're confusing the algorithm. So if you're doing a few that are low that like nobody's really used, and you're doing a couple mid, which mids are pretty easy, and then maybe some viral, like there's something about using a mixture of those density of those hashtags that will help improve the algorithm and get more. So when Kate was saying her insights, because if you become a business account or a creator account through Instagram, you can click on your post and view these insights. So these things are important, because if you're only using viral hashtags, then you're just going to get lost in a sea of no one's going to see you, and you're going to be like buried. And so another thing I know a lot of us do, and sometimes you can use like ironic hashtags from time to time to be funny, like if you want them in your post, but it being like the inside joke that nobody gets and that nobody would actually click on, like that's not doing anything. Like hashtags actually do increase your like views. So you really do want to be using hashtags that relate to what you're doing, but they don't have to and try to mix them up, because there is shadow banning that happens if you're using hashtags that don't match completely, then I think Instagram can flag it, and they say that they don't, but it's like this big brother thing. It's weird. So you just want to make sure that you're mixing it up. And I'm still looking. And so when you're trying to find your hashtags, the thing that helps is kind of thinking of your ideal person. And I love to look at, I always say this, but like locations a lot of times are almost better than hashtags for me, because I can like look at a coffee shop I like, or even like a clothing line I like, and then start looking through the people that have like commented and posted. And then if they have, obviously you want their account to be public because you can see what's going on with them. And then you can kind of get a feel for the things that they're posting and talking about. If you offer weight loss, they're not looking like, most people aren't going to be like, I want to lose weight like publicly, and they might not be searching weight loss hashtags, but they might be searching a hashtag that has something to do with similar interests as you. Like I'm pretty sure I found Jacqueline because I was interested in women that were at my own pregnancy stages, not just to work with them, but because I actually was interested in finding other women, and we have babies a day apart. And so I think I found her, or she found me, I'm not really sure, but through that, and then it blossomed into a relationship, a coaching relationship. But like you can find people, I don't know, social media is basically about connecting, and it's not all about these people just being your customers, but how can you connect and bring eyes to your page. And so that hashtag thing I thought was interesting. And then also make sure when you're using these hashtags too, I'm going to get in the habit of every day engaging on these same hashtags. Like go flirt with I call it Instagram flirting. Go flirt with these people that are using the same hashtags as you. And if you go through those hashtags and you're like, these people are not my people, then obviously it's time to use some different hashtags. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share. and I don't get a lot of messages here. So okay, hold on. Chelsea said, I feel ridiculous for this, but I have no idea how to use highlights or anything about it. It's like a story. So yeah, anything that you have shared previously. So I think you can go click create highlight and it'll show all your archives, and you can build a new highlight from that. So you can go through and select whatever you want the theme to be. And then after that, this is how I do it anyways. And then after that, if you share your story and you think, oh, that fits. So like I just did the ultimate reset and I had a highlight for that. So anytime I shared something, I would like that day just go back through my story and hit highlight and then select which like folder to put it in. And then you can go to edit highlights and then choose a photo to be like your album cover, and I would just make it in word swag. That's what I've done. So then they're all uniform and pretty. You'll see people do, I just have like a text, but some people have like little pictures, and you can just Google stuff. You don't have to be like super, I don't think you have to be that creative to find something that and just that flows. So yeah, it'll kind of walk you through it, but it's like archiving your stories and creating little albums that people can go look at that reflect whatever the theme is. Okay, so Kate already answered that. Yes, okay. Josie said, I've been doing all this wrong. And while I did her training, it was like, oh, I went with X. Thank you for input. Do you have any plans this weekend? Well, I mean, I'm still perfecting it. I obviously suck at it because I've just been not asking people questions. I've just been like leaving it. I sometimes say like, oh, you should join us. But like, I should be better about like striking up more conversation, not just like how I've been doing.
Maybe we could talk a little bit about photo quality and content.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Does anybody have questions about content and or photo quality? You can raise your hand.
I don't necessarily have a question, but during Mandy's like call with Amy before, I've never looked at her Instagram before. I scrolled all the way back to like her first post, and her Instagram has always been very like cohesive, and mine like looks like garbage compared to hers, you know? So what I did was like I screenshotted a ton of groups of her photos, and I want to like kind of recreate what she's done a little bit, but like obviously put my spin on it. And I really liked her feed a lot. And like she has like a professional camera, it looks like, because like tons of her photos are super professional. And I have my own camera. I really want to start taking like higher quality pictures, because like I've been using my phone, obviously, like Amber said before, like I set my phone up right over there, right like where that wall is, and that's what I've been doing lately instead of just taking bathroom mirror selfies like I've always done. But I just don't know like what to post, because I'm always home and I don't like leave my house and I don't really do anything interesting. So I'm like, what do I do? Like, what do I post?
Jacqueline, I can so help you with the photography part, and you can teach me Instagram.
Yeah, she's actually a professional photographer, so thanks, Michelle.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also too, you live in a really beautiful place, and the weather is going to start getting nicer, and so you do like, you guys like to hike, don't you? Go outside, and I know you have like a beautiful property, so I feel like you could start incorporating more outside pictures. But like Michelle could help you with some, even if you did like a photo shoot and you just had like a stockpile where you brought them up if you wanted to promote something or have a quote or something, you know, like I see people do that a lot where they'll like bring back a picture from like a previous photo shoot. Like they didn't share it all right away, but it's like you can tell it was from that other shoot. And I feel like that works. So, and I think your feed is a great reflection of what you're up to. But yeah, I think all of us can like kind of brainstorm like how we can kind of change it up and get more streamlined and like prettier. I have like I've been hovering at 14,000 followers for a real long time. And I think that's a lot to some people, but it's also like not a lot compared to how long I've been actively building my Instagram for 5 years, when other people around me are up to like 40, 50,000. So I struggle with like doing things for the gram because I want to be me. And so, but I also know that I should probably be maybe doing brighter pictures. Like sometimes if things are too dark, and people don't, even though some people say they like the food is not ever really something that I get a lot of engagement on. So, and I think I've looked at Mandy's before, but isn't hers really bright? Yeah.
Hers is really bright, and she definitely uses like one tone or like a very similar tone for all of her photos, which, speaking of cohesive, I've been looking at mine and it's been driving me nuts, but I haven't found, like, forever. Last year, was it that presets became a thing? The year before when they became a thing? I don't know when that was. And I haven't found one that I really stuck with or liked, and I went back to VSCO, but I want to go back to something that looks better or has like a better flow to it myself. I don't know. You know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so we're talking about presets. So Lightroom is a free app that you can get, and you can mess around with the settings. Like you can brighten exposure, warm it up, cool it down. Like you can teach yourself. You just download the app, upload a photo, and you can like play around with it. But people created presets. So like when you mess around with those sets, they become like on your own. You've just created a preset. But people started selling them. Just like you started seeing people like, you can go on Etsy and buy like a pack of presets. And it's like these Instagrammers or social media influencers have been like, my presets, like my coveted, like beautiful artistic way I do photos. And I've bought a few that I like. And for the life of me, they don't, like, one picture will be like, yeah, that looks so good. And then I'll do a similar type picture with the same preset. You can just copy and paste it. Like, so you can like upload a picture and be like, copy my brand new beautiful preset. And then it looks crazy. Like I got like orange skin, and it's like, what the heck? And you can't lessen it. Like at least on VSCO, which is another free app, you can select one of their filters and then be like, lessen that, because that's insane. Like, let's bring it down. You cannot do that with the Lightroom app. I don't know why. It drives me insane. So I'm like, I like this, but like, can we just have less of it? And now that I have a new phone, I'm trying to play around more with portraits, because portraits look great and they don't usually need a filter. So I run into the issue. My thing is not cohesive because I can't find a filter that like works universally. So
that's the same thing for me.
I don't know what to tell anyone. I just think that you kind of mess around to find something that you like, that you go back to, and then the nicer camera you have, the better. And if you have an actual camera, obviously that's really nice. But like, don't get hung up on that, because me and Kate just built this on our iPhones for years. We haven't done anything like that has never stopped me from hitting Success Club.
Yeah,
but it's like, it's goals. You know, we all have goals to like be better.
And I wouldn't like stop doing what you're doing if you're like, well, it has to be perfect. It doesn't. You just have to put yourself out there and share yourself and share your journey, and like not get hung up on everything else. Something I really like about what Mandy Kai said on that team call. So if you haven't watched that call after this, go watch that recording tonight or tomorrow, just like ASAP, because she said something really important, especially for all the new coaches in your first year, which is the majority. And even as like a veteran coach, and I've been guilty of this too, it's like being consistent on your Instagram every single day, on your social media every single day, because, and I've always kind of said this, but you're building trust or you're not. And when you're not showing up, you're not building trust. So people aren't going to join somebody who's not showing up. So if you start showing up and start showing your journey, like don't get a month in and stop posting because you lose that trust. You're like asking somebody to go all in with you and to commit with you. If you're not willing to show up, like that doesn't have the same message. So it's really important to show up every day, and even show up. Like she goes really deep into like showing up even if you don't want to. And I was thinking about that today actually, because I feel so boring. Like Jacqueline, like I haven't left the house today. My baby has had all my attention. I feel like I'm going insane, and it's just been a lot. But you know what? Like I'm going to post something. I'm going to go through my old content, because one thing that she said, if you have been around a while, like go back to old posts, think about like where you were, what progress you've made. If you're new, think about why you joined. That's something you can share. I always like to say, like, write out a list of like 10 to 20 ways coaching or Beachbody or fitness, any of these things have changed your life, and that gives you 10 to 20 topics to talk about, like right off the bat. But like show up even when you don't want to, because if you're serious about this business, you're going to do it anyways. So really everybody needs to go watch that because it was gold. But as far as content goes, it's important to learn and continue to grow. But don't get hung up on it, and don't say, you know, like I can't be successful if I don't have this many followers or if I don't do that, because there are top coaches in the business and coaches who make like 6 figures who have the worst Instagram and the worst Facebook like posts that you will ever see. And you're like, how do they do this? But they do. And so like, even if you're just getting started, and I was literally horrible when I started, and I'm seeing some of my very first posts pop up right now. I can share them in the team page and Team Live and Love, and they were bad, like really bad. Before the 3-day refresh, there was a 3-day Shakeology cleanse. And as my I posted 6 years ago today, got Shakeology. Like, what? You wouldn't see me post that now. And then my profile picture was like text on my profile or on my photo that said 2.5 pounds lost in 3 days on my Shakeology cleanse. Heart Shakeology. I keep that up so I can bring that up on these calls and tell you how bad I was when I started, because I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to really run a business on social media or how to create good content or any of that. The important thing is, like, we're talking about higher level stuff, and it's stuff you want to learn, but I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. Know that this is just like any other job. Every single day you're going to show up and you're going to learn something. You don't have to know everything to be successful. You just have to start showing up and sharing and do the vitals. And everything else comes like day after day as you continue. So you don't have to do all of this at once. You just have to start showing up, start sharing, be authentic, share your voice, and doing those vitals, inviting people. And like that is the majority of this. And you learn and you grow and you keep going. Wash, rinse, and repeat. If that makes sense. Everybody has their babies, and it makes me miss Rowan, but I'm really excited he's successfully napping in the other room right now. Anyways.
Try not to flash anybody. Yeah, does anyone have any other questions? Or, I mean, I talked about doing like a review, which we can always do. Like if anybody wants to just give me and Kate like their handle, we are happy to like look over it later and give you some feedback. When I first started, I was told to post 3 times a day and to space it 3 to 4 hours. And I was busy at the salon, and I still did it every day. It was, and like now we don't have to do that because we have stories. They changed the algorithms. It used to be like chronological, so you could like whatever. So anyways, it's changed a lot. And so if you're someone that's going from like no posting and you're like, that scares me to go every day, then maybe start with 3 times a week. You know, just like give yourself a goal. Like I'm going to start being more consistent, and that consistency to you can be, 2 to 3 times a week, but maybe daily stories, or, just something like you don't have to go. Mandy did say on the call today, which I liked, if you want psycho results, you do psycho things. Because she was like, because someone said, how many invites did you do as a new coach? And she was like, a lot, because she really wanted to grow fast. So, when we say post daily, if you want to build a business, then freaking post every day. But if you're like, I can't, that's crazy, then just do 3 times a day. But just know that when you hear these things, these recommendations, or see other coaches doing it that are success, then that's an indication that that could help you. I just think a lot of the team struggles with posting and then just seeing the same people watching your stories, the same people liking your posts, or even just our own team liking each other's things. And that is an indication that you need more eyes on you. So that means you need to be spending a little time every single day connecting and like flirting with people outside of your following. And you can go to, like I mentioned, like locations that you like. Oh my God, hold on. I always, and I like this part, like I'll go to, so say I'm like at a coffee shop and I'll tag that I was there. I'll go to who else tagged themselves. I'll click it to say recent, not top. And then it'll just, and I'll scroll until I see like a homie that I want to make. Like I'll be like, that person looks cool. And then I'll go, then that's, I don't know, that's, and I connect and comment, and it's authentic, and it's not about Beachbody. And that's just what I've always done.
I think that's how I found you forever ago too. I could be wrong. But yeah, and you don't have to follow all of these people. You can just love on them. And when you have that rapport with them from going to the same place and commenting on a mutual interest or whatever, like you have that rapport, they're going to see that interest. They're going to go look at your page, which is why it's important to have those like top 9 photos representing what you do and how you can help them. So.
Did you ask me a question? Because I was screaming and I didn't.
I said, I think that's how I found your page and how you joined me however many years ago, as I liked and commented on your stuff.
Yeah, you did a lot. And I was like, who is this weirdo? Liking and like commenting on my stuff. I don't know who you are. This is weird. No, I didn't think, I just was like, that's weird. Because at that time, I didn't have strangers commenting and liking my stuff. And so I was like, oh, she seems cool and nice. And I didn't follow her initially. She grew on me. I actually was like, where'd that girl go? Like, she's always posting positive things. And then I actually followed her. But it took me, like, I had to kind of warm up to it. Because I'm by nature, before Beachbody, was a very skeptical, negative, sarcastic person that if, like, she had to kind of win me over by, like, liking and commenting and stuff. I'm so glad she did. But, like, if she had just messaged me, hey girl, want to join my challenge group? I would have been like, gross, ew, no. She had to like win me over with just being nice. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. Not a lot of people are like nice like that out of nowhere. And like, yes, she did have a motive, but it didn't come out right away. And then she shared a transformation that literally was like a side by side. And it was just like, I lost some weight. I'm holding another challenge group. And I like couldn't sign up fast enough that day. She didn't get back to me fast enough. I was like, I get in my email. So I wasn't coach shopping. I wasn't, anyways, looking for it. So anyways, I just think there's a lot of power in that.
Yeah. And it's fun because that's how you can find people who you want to work with. And that's a big part of our job and what we do is like having fun and working with people who you want to work with. And again, there's so many different ways to do it because you can go to mutual interests like hashtags and locations and all of these things and just think about people who you have things in common with. I'm going to call out Kelsey because she's brand new and this is her first team call. But for instance, because this just pops into my head, like you sing and your singing is amazing, by the way, and she posts videos on her Facebook. But if you do that on your Instagram too, like going to like using hashtags that are vocal related, singing related, like finding other women who sing and do that and then creating that natural rapport because you guys have that thing in common. Like it's just super easy and it flows because they're going to be like, oh, she does this too. And that just came to my head.
That's so true too, because like Amber did not send me one message. She didn't invite me. She didn't like come after me for nothing. I messaged her because we were following each other and I just liked her feed and our babies were one day apart. So it's really nice to find people that you like truly do connect with because then you're kind of just like, you know, the universe is just pulling them into you, even just on accident.
Seriously.
And maybe I should have invited Jacqueline a little sooner. So that's an indication. Like, cause what if she hadn't, you know, what if she had found another coach? It's like, we kind of like, there's that fine line of wanting to not be like weird and pushy, but also like, if you don't invite them, someone else is going to. This is just the way the world is. And so thankfully she did reach out to me.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, challenge group? That sounds like so much fun. What's up?
Yeah, so I guess I did like a public invite, but I didn't slide into her DMs.
One thing though with Amy too, and like think about the way you were invited or you wish you were invited or like what drew you in, because I specifically remember this. I eventually joined her challenge group because she was, I would comment on her posts back in 7 years ago, I don't know, 6.5 years ago because I was a challenger before I was a coach. And, she would be like, are you a coach too? And I would be like, oh no. It was so weird. And then I did a challenge with her and I kept seeing SYSOF. I kept seeing the team culture. I kept seeing the calls and the girls that she was hanging out with. And like as an adult, it's hard to make friends who are girls or just friends like as adults, gender, whatever. But like, I was like, I want to be a part of that. That sounds like fun. And so that's like what piqued my interest with coaching. Kelsey, I saw you had a question about a new Instagram, like creating a new Instagram versus using the one that you have. Is that your question? So I recommend, and I think Amber will agree, I know Amber will agree with me on this, to just keep your current Instagram. And then, because it shouldn't be Beachbody all the time. It should be like kind of what we talked about, like a lifestyle and just who you are. And then the people who are already there and following your page, they're going to see what you're doing and connect with that. And then those are great people for like a warm market to invite and share with. And because they're going to get curious as you start sharing what you're doing. So yeah, they're going to get curious about you sharing your journey as a person and not just the product. And that's why it's important to share you and not just like Beachbody on Demand or Bar Blend, sharing about the workouts. Like if you watch, like for instance, what Amber and I do, you very rarely see, what am I trying to say here? Brand names. Like occasionally we'll say Shakeology or whatever, but or with Bar Blend, you can say Bar Blend because a lot of people like Beachbody hasn't really put that out there as much. It's still VIP early access. So a lot of people don't know about it. And they have to get it through a coach, for instance, but it helps to brand things around you. And yes, you can change your Instagram to a business page. And I can't remember how. I think you need a Facebook, right? Facebook like page. It's been a minute. So you can create
I think you have to have a Facebook like. I don't know if you need a Facebook like page for the creator page. I switched to creator recently and I haven't noticed a huge difference, but I already had a like page. So.
I think both you have to have a business page on Facebook. So you can just create a business page that's like Kelsey Fitness or whatever you want your thing to be. And then it'll give you the option to change your Instagram over to a business page. And that's great because it'll have like that little, if you guys want to know the perks of it, is it shows you like the insights. And then it also, gives you the ability to like create ads to run or gives you the little email button. And yeah, it's just better, I think, overall for businesses.
It will automatically generate a Facebook like page for you if you go into your Instagram and create change over to a business account. It automatically does it.
That's cool. That's new. I didn't know that.
That's all good to know because I don't know anything about Insta. So
none of us did when we started. I can say pretty across the page, like very few people do when they get started. But like the cool thing is we have so many trainings and tools to like learn and go forward. I like lost my train of thought there.
My mindset behind just like using my own Instagram was that I really wanted to stay me as a coach. Like I really wasn't trying to be someone I wasn't. And I really wanted to like speak to other people that like hadn't been very active or had maybe struggled with nutrition, and I wanted to show that I was like a busy mom and working and stuff. So I just fed it into my posts. So I would have like, you know, and I still try to do this balance where it's like me and things I'm interested in, my family, and also health and fitness. And so and then along the way, you know, I did lose some people, but I obviously gained so many more followers. So yeah, I think that it can be scary, but if you're just kind of weaving it in to just sharing what you're doing, and it doesn't have to feel like an ad, it can literally just be sharing some positive thing, some takeaway from something that you're doing. Oh, God, just head down. Then it won't feel like you're like, bam, everything's different now. Okay.
Well, I think this was a great team call. Thank you. Again, we had an amazing turnout. And the more faces we get on these calls, we can start getting guest speakers to be on this call. Last week after the team call, Amber and I were texting each other, just being like so excited about how many people are on. And again, I just feel really excited about this. So thank you guys all for hopping on. And yeah, we will see you all next week, Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it used to, Caitlin, it used to start at 6. The calls now start at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We made it earlier. But yeah, so thank you guys so much. I'll have the recording up later. Make sure if you didn't already, go watch that Mandy Kai team call. And if you're not in Success Club yet, you can watch trainings that I added to Team Love and Love and make it happen still a day and a half. I'm counting tonight. I don't know what time it is wherever you are to make it happen, but have a good night, guys.